Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and more Blood and Plunder here as we start working into the native commanders. Today we're taking a look at a quick one here, Captain Tabary. Interesting one in some of the abilities that we have here, which we really are getting kind of for the first time with all the different commanders and everything covered so far. So very specifically, if you're leading a Carib force, he is available for that. Comes in at 25 points, and here's what we get for that. So the standard melee weapon and a pistol, so, again, overall, your most basic kit here for a commander. Has, unlike a lot of the big nation or major nation special characters that we've seen, pretty small here on the command range. But then again, with the type of force that we're building here, where we're going to be doing a lot of raiding and really just needing to be close together in general, that's okay, right? Still has the 2 command points, so that will work out nicely, especially with Inspiring. We've seen Inspiring again over and over again across all these different commanders, but basically anybody within his command range can reroll on rally tests. So again, keeping the force in the fight as long as possible because, again, some of the units are going to be somewhat fragile, but the other 2 abilities we really do want to home in on because, again, this is going to be a force that's going to do really well in close combat by and large, but also with some of the shooting that's out there. But the interesting one here, Great Warrior. So we have not seen that before. Let's dive into what that really gives us. So now, interestingly, the commander cannot begin the game attached to an inexperienced unit. So keep that in mind for list building, all right? So for those wanting to run just lots and lots of units by going with just a lot of inexperienced guys, you're still going to have to stick him into at least a trained or better unit to start with. And then any unit joined by this commander has a new upgrade unlocked. So basically you can upgrade all the models in the unit to what are called War Captains for 1 point per model. And then what that gives you once per turn, right? So ideally we keep this unit alive throughout the game. But once per turn, War Captains may apply a -1 bonus to any one test they take. So again, could be shooting, could be close combat, but with the right combination of abilities, that can get pretty nasty. And so well worth, I think, investing those extra points in the unit. So just keep that in mind for your list building as well. So really, whatever unit he joins to get the most value out of the commander, right, it would be kind of silly to pay the points for him and then not upgrade that unit that is joined with the Great Warrior ability. So basically, you can tack on several more points to him. Ideally, you put him in a big unit, right, to get the best effect out of that. But that's one thing, and a really neat ability, right? So just any test, so keep that in mind. But obviously, really great when we do things like shooting in close combat and stuff like that. Then we move on to another one that we haven't really had before, Night Raider. So this can also kind of combo in nicely with just some of the themes of this type of list and what this character is going to bring to us. But basically, instead of using the faction rule to deploy half of the unit's forces units, with lay in wait, the force actually gets to attack at night. So that's referenced in the book, of course, how that works. But what that does is the units in the commander's force that have the hidden special rule may use its effects when being targeted from 8 inches away instead of the more normal 12 inches away if the battle takes place at night. So basically, we can sneak much closer to the enemy and still benefit from that, right? So normally we'd have to be 12 away, which is a fair distance, especially depending on some of the weapons and maybe what we want to accomplish that turn. But really, this lets us creep real close to the enemy, get into optimal ranges for a lot of weapons out there, maybe even get ready for, charging into combat and stuff. And then really just being harder for the enemy to deal with, really. So that, and then if we can time things right, and then, hey, we're going to either shoot at more or less like point blank range, or we're going to just go into combat, and then we'll activate Great Warrior when we time it right with his own unit. That's going to be pretty potent. And then should we pick up some fatigue along the way? Well, we've got the 2 command points and Inspiring. Now, again, command range is really going to be the main downfall of this guy with only the 8-inch command range, but it's still a 16-inch bubble, which is actually a fair bit of territory, but it just means we're probably going to be bunched up. But really, what we're doing in that case is we're going to concentrate forces here and just overwhelm the enemy with all of our best stuff in a short short expansive territory. Now, the only time where this is going to maybe be a little bit rough is if we have him and the scenario dictates that we actually do need to spread out for whatever reason, cover multiple parts of the field, maybe for multiple objectives and stuff like that. But then again, they can kind of, hopefully with time on their side, overwhelm one area, maybe leave a unit behind if it's like a claiming objective or something like that, and then just, as fast as possible try to get across the board to deal with other parts of the enemy force. But yeah, so some ups and downs, but an interesting commander nonetheless. Let us know, guys, if you have fielded Carib force and actually brought in Tabary, and how that's gone for you, and how much did Great Warrior and Knight Raider come into play for you. Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.